Today on Triple M NRL Daily, we've got a massive, massive show. The biggest signing in NRL history. Payne Haas is going to the Bunnies.
And we dive into what it means for the Broncos and the Bunnies, Charlie. Very interesting.
Very interesting, Dave.
Outside of the Broncos, Dragons fans are up and about Kade Reed.
Good player.
I'll tell you the Dragons plan for the youngster.
That and plenty more, plus an all-time Ricky Stuart yarn from David Riccio. And we've got the biggest story in the game, and we're only a couple of weeks away from the footy season starting. Charlie White here, and I'm joined by David Riccio. How are you, my friend?
Great to be back. Yeah, absolutely. Straight out of the blocks, fellas. Massive story.
And the man who broke the story, or co-broke the story, doesn't want to
Yeah.
take full credit for it. Brent Reed, how are you?
I'm good, yeah. No, my great mate, our great mate, Mickey Carayanis got the mail. I just helped him firm it up. But it's, I mean, where do we go from here?
One team, one dream,
It's
though,
all
Reddy.
downhill from here,
One
isn't it,
team,
really?
one
Biggest
dream.
story of the year is probably, well, we always say this.
Yep.
The biggest story of the year is broken in February, but you know there's a biggest story around the corner because it's rugby league, baby.
Baby, that's true.
I think
There's always drama.
But that's the beauty of this story, and it's always the ones that, the biggest. We feel it's bigger because it was so secret.
Yeah.
And
They
when
did well, didn't they?
Yeah.
Really well. But I think it happened very quickly. I'm sure we'll talk about it. But yeah.
Well, we will talk about it. It'll be most of the podcast today, really. We'll be talking about this. If we weren't going to talk about that, it'd be pretty crazy, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be, yeah.
But it broke on Code Sports as well.
Yeah,
Shout out
yeah.
Code Sports. Always have the best stories in the game.
Yeah,
But Payne Haas, Reedy, you broke it. Does that mean you're now the number one journo in the game?
Well, I told you it was Mickey C. Carayanis.
So you both going
David
together
Boyd,
to be
too.
number one
We're
journo
all
in the
joined-
game?
We're all joined with
Yeah.
Code Sports and NRL. We're a big happy family, Charlie.
Because Chamis drops
We all
out.
share the glory.
Rothfield
Well,
drops
Chamis
out.
is quickly forgotten.
Yeah.
Rothfield's
The only
quickly
thing that
forgotten.
will decide this is the sprint.
Oh, that's true.
Back again in 2026. Hopefully both you boys
We're on
compete. Maybe Carayanis because he broke that story.
has to be, yes.
He's in the race now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in the race. But big news, Payne Haas,
Yeah.
3-year deal, joining the Bunnies. One of the craziest signings in NRL history. How did it all happen, Reed?
Well, look, South's had a long-standing interest in him, but obviously when Keon left, they had a bit of money to spend. Keon's managed by the same agency as Payne Haas, so obviously as a result of that, they knew how much money South had to spend. But it really heated up this week around Friday. But so over the course of the week, Payne indicated he would have an interest in potentially coming to Sydney. South quickly put together a deal. Payne went away on the weekend, rang the club on Sunday and said, I'm in. So, there's been a lot of layers to this. Wayne Bennett, obviously, and Wayne convinced Payne all those years ago. It's a great story. It's been told before, but Payne was on the way to the airport, I believe, with his dad in the car to go to Melbourne to sign with Melbourne. Wayne Bennett's picked up the phone, rung him, and said, mate, you need to come to Red Hill. So he turned around, drove to Red Hill and signed with the Broncos. So
Wow.
he has had a long-standing relationship with Wayne.
Debuted him as well.
Debuted him. And Latrell and Dave Fafita, he's got a great relationship with Dave Fafita. They're very close. And both those guys have been working on Payne in the background. So, but it really escalated this week. It's happened really quickly. Even though they had a long-standing interest in him, it really took off this week. And obviously on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I think Payne, his management met with the Rabbitohs on Friday. Payne went away on Saturday with his wife, thought about what he wanted to do, and decided he wanted to go to South. Decided he wanted to change the scene. And there's a lot of reasons for it. I don't think it's one thing.
The rumour is that it is a little bit Michael Maguire related as well. That's the talk when you talk to a few people around Brisbane over the last 24 hours or so.
I tell you who'd be hurting today. Hurting and
Jealous. He'd be very
scratching
jealous.
at the walls, Buzzy boy. Because for everything you just said, Charlie, there needs to be some type of explanation about why and how the premier front rower walks out of your football club.
Particularly a club like the Broncos.
Yep,
They don't lose players generally.
that's right.
But I don't think you can put it all in the Madge basket. I think they've had a particularly hard pre-season, and Payne's probably thought, how many more of these pre-seasons do I need, right? And that's probably swayed him a little bit, but it's not
What
the
are you
sole
saying? He's going to
reason.
get a softer run at South?
No, well, Madge's pre-seasons are notorious, Dave.
Yeah, I understand that.
And he probably thought about his body and the impact it could have on his body, and maybe he believes that going to South will preserve him a bit more. But again, I don't think that's not the sole reason. I mean, Payne's a very complex human being with a very complex life in Brisbane, particularly obviously with all the family things going on around him. And that's probably played a part as well. The fact he can, I don't know if escape's the right word, but go somewhere where He doesn't have that in his face every day. So moving to Sydney just gives him a little bit of distance, I'd imagine, between some of the dramas that are going on in his inner circle. Because there's a lot going on with that inner circle. So I think it's a combination of things. I don't think you can say it's purely Madge.
I think Spotlight's going to be just as significant as Brisbane here in Sydney, if not more so.
But you've got 9 clubs down here, Dave.
Go ask Latrell Mitchell about the Spotlight in Sydney.
But Latrell's a different beast to Payne.
He's the premier front row in the game. I don't think he's going to get a cushy run at the Bunnies.
Well, yeah, but I don't think it's about this being in the spotlight. I don't think that's the issue. What I'm saying is I think there's a lot of other things aside from footy that Payne's got going on in his life. And by coming to Sydney, as I said, he puts a little bit of distance between those things in himself.
There was a tip around where clubs had previously shown interest in Payne in last 18 months that the media, him wanting to get into the media was
Payne.
Yeah.
Okay.
He actually talks really well. If you hear him do interviews,
Absolutely.
he doesn't do a ton of interviews, but when he does speak, he speaks really well.
Yeah, agree.
I think you can't underestimate the role Wayne played as well, Wayne Bennett, in this happening. Because as I said, they've got a long-standing relationship. And Wayne, the old master, he hasn't won a comp in a while, but he's still one of the guys that people want to play for. And he's got a great relationship with guys like Payne Haas. He knows what buttons to press with those sort of guys. We've seen it with Latrell, and whilst Latrell hasn't played his best footy under Wayne, he's happy. He seems happier than he's ever been. So, I think you can't underestimate that part of it.
The big thing is, boys, Wayne's 76 this year.
Yeah.
So how much longer? Does he coach till he's 80?
Well, they're talking about an extension now, Dave. Those talks have been going on for a while. I think he'll do at least one more year, Wayne.
When's he currently signed to?
He's signed till the end of next year, I believe.
End of next year.
So I think he'll do at least 28.
So, he'll be pushing 78, 79 when Payne actually gets here.
Yeah.
Do you think Payne's been given some assurance that Wayne will be the coach for that whole contract?
No, I don't think so.
So that'll be a 2-year extension?
I don't think so, no.
I don't think you can do that, Charlie.
So.
I think there'd be an element of Wayne being involved with the football club no matter what.
What does it mean, though, for South Sydney? Because I saw, obviously, Aaron Wood say that they're the favourites for the premiership next year. That might be a bit of a stretch, just bringing Payne Haas in. But one, does it make them a contender immediately? And number two, are we going to see some players that have to leave the club to make room for Payne Haas?
Well, no, because Keon obviously has gone. They've used that money. Now, I think he's on a bit more than Keon would have been on at the club, but they've got some guys who are playing for their future at that footy club, guys like Sean Kepi. He's one that comes to mind. I mean, Cody Walker's in the last year of a deal, and you'd imagine Cody won't go around potentially in 27.
Humphreys is off contract
Humphreys
as well.
is off contract and hasn't done. They've tried to re-sign him and he hasn't done a new deal. So there's a handful of blokes there. You throw in the key. You've got the key on money. You throw in these other guys whose futures are up in the air, and I don't think they've necessarily got to move anyone they don't want to move. They've got some guys they might move because they decide to go in another direction. But I don't think necessarily they've got to cut anyone because to fit Payne Haas in.
Well, they eventually will. And they eventually will have to cut players because I can tell you there's a massive story brewing at the end for the 2027 season. South Sydney have the most players off contract, 22 coming off contract at the end of 27. By comparison, Saints are at 15, the Panthers are at 13, Eels are at 15, Cowboys are at 7. What I'm saying is South Sydney with 22 players off contract in 2027.
How many of them are big names?
Latrell Mitchell.
Yeah, okay.
All right, Jack Whiten.
I'll probably keep him.
Jai Arrow. Thomas Fletcher, Campbell Graham, Alex Johnson, Mamazoulis, Jaden Sullivan, Isaiah Tass, Brandon Smith. There's some big names there, mate.
The other thing I'd say by then, Dave, at the end of 27, you're going to have a new broadcast deal. Cap might have gone through the roof. So they've obviously taken a calculated gamble that the cap's going to go up significantly, and that'll allow them to retain some blokes like Campbell Graham, like Jai Arrow, those sort of guys who might expect decent money.
The thing is with the appointment of Payne Haas at the Bunnies, this is the player they have been seriously lacking.
Mate, it's the whole
for so long. And to the point of which, remembering when Adam Faneuil-Blake was weighing up between Sharks and Saints, Souths had a little dip there, but they didn't go hard enough.
And I reckon they regretted that.
They
Dave.
did.
Yeah.
They absolutely regretted the Adam Faneuil-Blake miss. And they've been trying to find that similar player and certainly found it absolutely in Payne Haas.
Something for me doesn't add up with the fact that they've got cap though, because you look at some of their players. So I'll give you 7 names, and I'll give you what they're supposedly on if you believe the reporting of the fine gentlemen like yourself.
Yeah.
Jack Whiten, 850. Payne Haas, what's he got, Reedy? 1 million?
No, more than that.
What's he on then? 1 point.
I'd imagine he's on about 1.2 with
1.2,
ratchet clauses.
perfect. Cam Murray's on 1 million. Joe Arrow's on 800. Latrell's on 1 million. Cheese is on 600. Campbell Graham's on 700. That's already half their salary cap on those 7 players. And I haven't mentioned Dave Fafita, Tavita Totola, Tallis Duncan, Jai Gray, Alex Johnson, all these names. Like, where is this money coming from? It doesn't seem to add up that they've got all those big name players on big money and they've still got enough money to fit Payne Haas in as well.
But it's no different to Melbourne, the Roosters. What's the difference there?
No, but it is.
I think they've got similar guys on huge money. They're very top heavy. You can go 2 ways with the salary cap these days, Charlie, I reckon. And Melbourne did it for a long time. You can go top heavy where you pay 4, 5, 6 guys big money and you fill it out with guys on smaller wages, right? Or you can spread your money. And I think the history has shown that the way to go is to go top heavy. Look at Penrith, Cleary, in previous years, Cleary, Luai, Yeo.
But they've had to. But exactly, right? That's kind of my point.
They've lost players, but they'll lose players.
Yeah,
they've lost Keon.
They have to.
Yeah.
Keon was on 9.
They've lost Keon.
Keon's on over 900. They've suddenly got that money next year.
But they've got no halves signed yet for
the big one.
27.
Well, that's
so
an issue for them.
they've got all these players. They've seemingly now got no money left now that Payne Haas has come. Then they've got no halves.
But if you're
so
a half
surely they're
now-
going to have to move some of these players
Charlie, if
around.
you're a half now, right, and you're looking at clubs to go to, and you see South with Payne Haas, you're probably more likely to go there than not, I would think. If as long as they're competitive financially, and they will be.
And
they'll
you'll
find
take
the
a little
money.
bit unders.
And
maybe.
yeah, they've got other. I mean, you've mentioned who are some of the guys you mentioned then?
Whiten, Haas, Murray, Jairo,
Whiten's
Latrell,
getting
Cheese.
Whiten's getting to the end of his career.
Yeah, but he's signed for 27, which is the first year.
Got a neck issue at the moment. He's having scans on and may not start the season. So there's some guys in that group who are at the back end of their career who, maybe 27's their last season. Maybe they move on at the end of 27. I don't know. But, I think that if you can sign Payne Haas and it forces you to squeeze some players out, you sign Payne Haas.
I think the biggest decision is absolutely what Charlie said, and it's in the halves. They need to solve this halves issue. And Jai Gray re-signed. Did Jai Gray re-sign because he thinks he's going to play at number 14? No, he's re-signed because he thinks he's going to play fullback. So where does Latrell fit in?
You're going to stick him at 6, Dave?
I am.
Ooh,
Okay.
I like it.
I do. I think Latrell, I think that his influence on a game, the more time the football is in Latrell Mitchell's hands, the better the chance are of Souths winning that football match. And it actually helps. We know he's had his issues as far as injuries are concerned. It takes the load off as far as the running game of a fullback is concerned. And Jai Gray outplayed Latrell Mitchell on form last season. And I have Jai Gray at fullback and Latrell in the halves. As I said, that big body and a terrific kicking game when he's on.
Oh, yeah.
So that's how they solve their problem.
Great ball player as well. He's a fantastic ball player. On the Broncos side of things, actually, before we go to the Broncos side, what I will say around all this salary cap, I don't understand why we don't just have salaries public in the NRL. It happens in all other sports. Come on. It just
Only
makes
American sport.
Yeah, and pretty much English Premier League is where you sort of know it, but you know what they're on.
They're all taking a stab in the dark like we do.
But then it's salary. English Premier League is not a salary cap sport. All salary cap sports, the salary should be public so fans know what's actually going on.
You got to talk to Clint Newton about that one, Charlie.
Why do they care though?
Well, they don't want players public. Salaries public.
But why does it matter? Everyone speculates what's their own
Well,
anyway.
our
And
salaries
basically
aren't
knows.
public.
But you're not.
Would you be happy if your salary was made public?
I wouldn't
But
care.
we're not
to be
working
honest.
into a competition
You
with
had
the
so
salary
much
cap.
money, man. You'd be,
No, I'm not.
don't matter.
Mate, it's about what Riccio just said. We're not under a salary cap.
And we're not
you know?
in a competition
Okay.
that is restricted by a salary cap. That's the difference.
But what's it got to do with us? There's a governing body to take charge of that. What's it got to do with us? We don't regulate the salary cap.
But as fans,
the NRL does.
No, but as fans, we should be able to be across what's happening in the game and be able to see what teams have and where are these third parties at, because
The third parties are the biggest issue.
Mate, third parties aren't as big a issue as they used to be. I don't think there's as many third parties in the game now as there used to be. They've
Yeah.
loosened those rules up as well.
Well, it's interesting that South can fit in all of these players. Roosters can fit in all the players that they can. Storm can fit in all the players that they can. The maths doesn't math, is all I'm saying.
No math.
It doesn't. The maths does not math. On the Broncos side of things, what does this mean for them? Is this now 1 year premiership window then over for a little bit, or what are you boys thinking?
I'm really intrigued to see the impact. I mean, let's not take away from the fact. I keep saying it. This guy is the premier front rower in the game, and you have to understand the influence he would have had on so many of those younger forwards coming through the Broncos. So talented they are, and I'm interested to see what the impact of this decision does to the chemistry. And yes, they'll say absolutely we're going to go back to back again, and we're tight, we're connected. But one of the most dominant player in their team, outside of Reece Walsh, most certainly the most dominant forward, has just upped and left. There has to be an impact, a reverberation from a younger player going, oh God, if Payne's left, if Payne can do it, maybe I need to look at what's over the fence.
I actually think it's going to help them this year. Would you believe? Because I think Payne will want to go out big, right? So I think Payne Haas will have an amazing season because he'll want to leave a legacy there and an impact in his final season there. So I actually think it's going to. As strange as it sounds, I know you're smiling. You think I'm mad.
That's the Broncos fan coming out.
You think I'm mad.
That's the Broncos fan coming out.
I reckon Payne will have a huge season, and they'll be.
Well, I'll say this: the Panthers have shown it can be done. You know, they really have. The fact that they were able to, win those grand finals with so many exits through that salary cap period that they needed to let players go, it's an indication that it can be done. But I still have concerns over whether what impact, what reverberation does the most significant figure in the dressing room leaving have on the younger players?
Just going back to Madge for a second, one thing I thought was really interesting, the Broncos have done this 2-week camp in Toowoomba. Obviously, they're going over to England this week for the World Club Challenge as well. It does seem strange, and I'm not saying this is the reason Payne Haas has left, but it does seem strange that they would do a 2-week camp in Toowoomba when they've had the big off-season that they've had. A lot of them went and played international footy. Now they've got the World Club Challenge. They also had an incredible year and won the comp. It feels like something you do with a team that come last, not first.
Yeah, that's Madge's style, isn't it? Keeping the foot on the throat. And that can ruffle feathers, you're spot on. It can. And you know where it ruffles feathers? And I say this with the greatest respect, but because the game has shifted where wives and girlfriends play a major role as far as these players are concerned and their weekends and what an off-season looks like and pre-season. And so too the RLPA. Like they can't work Sundays and et cetera, like through pre-season. So that doesn't surprise me that if there are murmurs that was pretty full on and questions are being asked, do we really need this now?
Yeah.
I can understand that.
Wouldn't Buzz, as you said, wouldn't Buzz love to be around right now now talking about spew buckets and he'd just be loving it.
I was going to call him today on the way in just to see how he's feeling after the first big stories broken since he retired.
Him and Chammy, man, they'd be, oh, man. I mean, look, Madge get brought up, but I got to stress, it's not the tough pre-season. Look, Payne Haas has been brought up on, he as a kid, his dad would train him to exhaustion, right? So hard work doesn't worry Payne Haas. It's never worried Payne Haas. But I think all of this stuff has gone into the mixer for him to make this decision. But you can't. I'm stressing it's not a Michael Maguire thing, right? But there's a whole lot of things that gone into this that's gone towards Payne Haas arriving at this huge decision in his life. And I'm sure the pre-season and how exhausting it's been, and apparently it's been just as hard as last year, if not harder, maybe they played a part. I'm sure we'll find out. Well, I don't know if we will actually, because
they're not going to say
it's not Payne Haas' style. So.
But why would he come out and say, "Oh, my coach is one of the reasons why I'm leaving"?
Yeah.
Like he's never going to come out. But that's just the rumor, isn't it? Like that's the talk.
Yeah, and it's hard to fault Madge because the bloke just won a comp.
Well, that's the thing.
So whatever he does, his methods work.
But what his methods do often happen is he has success and then there's a big drop again.
Okay.
Because guys can't say that's what we saw at the Bunnies, didn't we?
That's true. Historically,
so, But on the Broncos, Riccio, what are they going to do now? They've got a lot of salary cap space freed up. They've got guys that need to upgrade. But what do you think they're going to do? Will they be active in the market?
Well, they have to. Active in the market depends on the fact that they've just got a premiership winning team, and with off-contract players, they get pay rises. When you win a comp, you get pay rises, and it's probably they've got 10 off contract at the end of this season. Look, Billy Walters, Jesse Arthurs, they're probably the bigger names. Then in 2027, Ben Tolte, Xavier Willison, Takura, Piakura. I think in 2027 is going to be the issue. And pretty much we're going to see that negotiation phase start now.
Well, they've got to sort out Pat Carrigan because I think Pat Carrigan's agent came out last year saying Paddy was underpaid and Pat needed his contract revisited. So, they need to keep Pat Carrigan now. With Payne Haas going, you got to extend Pat Carrigan, make him happy and give him big money, keep Willison. The rest of them, for me, are neither here nor there, right? You've got to keep Willison and Pat Carrigan and make those blokes happy if you're losing Payne Haas. And you know what? It's a production line up there, baby. The Broncos, we just churn them out. We'll be right.
Yeah,
not many Payne Haases going around, but I'm sure there'll be one somewhere.
Pretty good production line. They've won their first premiership in
20 years.
20 years. Might we want to have a look at that production line, mate?
It's fallen short a few times, but
The issue is also Tino now you've missed out on as well, the Broncos, because he's obviously staying with the Gold Coast Titans. They got rid of his clauses.
Yep.
Like that's a guy they probably would have looked to try and bring in to replace him, but he's gone.
Yep.
On that's big news for the Titans.
Oh, it's huge for Josh Hannay, Dave's man Josh Hannay and the Titans, because there were clubs sniffing around him. I think the Dragons were having a sniff. I think Melbourne were interested. Or I don't
Roosters had a nibble, but didn't like the numbers around him.
But it's a huge decision. And then we saw Cooper Bye re-sign as well. Now, he'd agreed to go to Melbourne.
Yeah.
He was in the cooling off period. When Tino re-signed, Cooper Bye changed his mind and stayed. So that's how pivotal that decision was for the Gold Coast, because Cooper Bye is going to be a star down the track. But massive Tino. Massive show of faith in Josh Hannay.
And you know what? And he's not a big name yet, Cooper Bye.
He's a gun.
But I think this story has been underestimated. He had agreed verbally with the Melbourne Storm in and around the New Year period. He gets back to the Gold Coast, and within that 10 days, the Titans do a job on him and convince him to just stick around, stay with us, stay on the course here, and sure enough, he's re-signed. I think that's huge. And to have Tino, that'll be the 1-2 punch, surely, Reedman, like Tino and Cooper. It's a big, on the flip side, should those two boys have left, it would have been a devastating blow for the Titans, but it's huge, absolutely huge.
Huge win for Josh Hannay as well early in his career. The other one for the Broncos that came out yesterday, Ben Dobbin broke this story that Adam Reynolds is retiring at the end of the year.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to say I wasn't overly shocked.
No.
And he's had a wonderful career, but I didn't think he'd go again. Did you guys?
No. Thought he might retire after the grand final.
Yeah.
So I was surprised he went again this year. He's been a great player, hasn't he, for a long time?
That's the whole point of Jonah Pezzett getting up there.
Yeah, he's had those soft tissue injuries in recent years, and what's the old saying? You can't beat Father Time, right? So Father Time's caught up with Adam Reynolds, and I tell you, if there's one bloke who'd be really devastated about Payne Haas leaving, it's Jonah Pezzett.
I was about to say the same thing
because he would have been I'm sure. Part of the reason Jonah Pezzett went there was to play behind Payne Haas.
Absolutely, you want to play.
And now he's going to go there and there's no Payne Haas there. Shattering.
Well, it's going to be interesting. That's another factor. Like Jonah now, suddenly you're looking at Jonah differently about when he starts to play for Parramatta this year. And I say that respectfully. He's a really good talent. But you want to see something from him this year because he's now going to a football club that absolutely has no Adam Reynolds. There was a little bit of maybe prior to Jonah signing, and then no Payne Haas. So you're relying on this. It's almost a rebuild.
I'm not sure Reynolds would have made the team next year.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, let's be honest. They got Ezra Mam, Jonah Pezzett going there. Ben Hunt, he wouldn't have played.
No. He's got a job there anyway, doesn't he? He's probably going to become part of their coaching staff.
He'll be a great mentor for Jonah Pezzett.
Yeah. He loves Brisbane by all accounts. He's made it his home. So
plays a lot of golf with Dobbo, doesn't he?
He does. That's probably how Dobbo got this mail.
Yeah.
So one of those who driven him back to Sydney playing golf with Dobbo. Imagine the rap Dobbo be giving himself on the golf course for 4 hours.
4 hours.
4 hours a
4
dollar.
hours with Dobbo.
God.
I couldn't do it.
No.
I'd be leaving after the third
He's
hole.
a patient man, Reynolds, isn't
God, he must be crazy, Reynolds.
Couldn't play
It's a red
putt-putt with
flag
him.
down in Reynolds is what it is. Now, Dave, I was at the Ricky Stuart Autism Foundation charity function on Friday, which was a great event. Ricky Stuart does incredible work. I mean, so much money would have been raised that evening. They gave away a BMW, Reedy, at this event.
No way.
Yeah.
I didn't win it.
Did you win it?
Bjorn Baker drew the number out.
Who won it?
Horse trainer.
You know?
One of the
Just some punter.
a table, yeah, with the sponsor.
Won a Beamer.
Yeah.
BMW.
She walked
Would
up.
you have got rid of the Tesla for the Beam? Oh, it's a big.
Might have given it to my
big
son. The
decision.
Beamer.
Oh, geez, lucky boy. Lots of money there not to sell
If he
it.
drives like you, I wouldn't
Oh,
be
that's
giving
true.
it
I
to
could have
him.
sold it, couldn't I? Yeah, probably would have sold it, yeah.
But you were on the panel, Dave. You with Neil Breen, Brayton Astor, and Yvonne Sampson doing like a journo panel.
Yeah.
And you told one of the all-time Ricky Stuart yarns. Now, you used to be his ghostwriter.
That's right. Yeah. So for listeners out there, a ghostwriter is someone who writes, a sporting identities column for them and shapes it in the way that they want to say things, and it's published in the weekend paper. And it was my job to do that, to be Ricky Stuart's ghostwriter back in 2007. And I hadn't had a lot to do with Sticky prior to that. So I rang him one day when my editor said, hey, you need to start taking over the Sticky column. I rang Ricky and I said, mate, we need to catch up, need to get this thing rolling. How about we meet up? He said, yeah, sweet. Meet me at 4:00 down at a yacht club in Cronulla, and we'll have a chat and get it done. Well, I get there, and Sticky's been there since 1:00, and he's there with a bunch of mates, and they're having a great time. And so I go, this will be good. Anyway, I'm there 3 seconds, and a beer's been passed to me. Sure enough, another beer keeps getting passed to me. VB or Tui's new, and I remember it because I was the only one receiving like a brown bottle, and VB and Tui's new only do the brown bottles. And after a while, his mates start asking me these random questions. Dave, you go for the Blues, and I went, yeah, mate, I go, yeah, of course I do. I go for the Blues, 100%. And then randomly, mate, did you watch the Smurfs as a kid growing up? And I went, yeah, I mean, I suppose I did, yeah. What about Bluey? You like Bluey, the cartoon? I went, yeah. And little did I know, they're having a wild old time pissing themselves laughing because what they'd done, they'd spiked my bottle of beer with blue food dye. And so every single time I took a drink, my lips were just getting bluer and bluer and bluer. And to this day, and that's how it's launched my relationship with writing Ricky Stuart's column, taking the absolute piss out of me.
There you go.
All-time story, mate. That's absolutely brilliant. Ricky Stuart as well, that event, the way he spoke, he's an incredible human being, isn't he?
Yeah, look, he's certainly different character. I mean, he can spit for Australia on the camera. Like, he's constantly down there on the sideline ranting, raving and spitting, and the Fox camera's in his face and he's telling him to F off. But off camera, behind the scenes, and what he does for that foundation, largely because of his, everything to do with his daughter Emma and her diagnosis with autism, you see a different side to Ricky Stuart that fans would absolutely be blown away. He was highly emotional at the lunch. He spoke brilliantly. And what that foundation has done over the past decade is extraordinary. They help raise money for respite centres, and respite centres help families dealing with loved ones that have autism, and it gives families a break, but also a safe space for their loved ones that are dealing with autism. And I think they're up to their fourth or fifth respite centre.
Wow.
Which
It's millions and
millions
they've
and
raised,
millions of dollars.
isn't it?
Yeah. A wonderful charity.
Absolutely. Are they being underrated, though, the Raiders this year? Because I don't know if I got caught up in just Ricky Stuart and how incredible it was, but I was sitting there hearing him talk, and I'm like, oh, the Raiders going to be deadly again this year.
Yeah. Well, in the fair income department, I only think one thing's changed. It's Jamal Fogarty.
Big change.
Look, the catch is this. They did a wonderful job through the regular season rounds. But I think ultimately, and I think this is a concern for Manly, and I'm happy to be proven wrong, Jamal needs to be able to show that he can take the next step under pressure. And that's what let them down. And so are you asking, will the Raiders be the same team through the regular season rounds with Ethan Sanders? I think they can be. It's about whether Ethan Sanders can take that next step as a class halfback when it matters most, because I think that's where Fogarty let them down.
Yeah, I think they'll have a great year. I mean, really, when you think about it, they beat Brisbane in the finals. They would have been in the grand final. They would have played in the grand final. That loss probably cost them a premiership. 20 minutes of Reece Walsh magic probably cost them. Well, I reckon they would have won the comp just about if they beat Brisbane in that final. So they're not far off Canberra. And you're right, Ethan Sanders is a change. But if you looked at them like that, sides against them last year, they attacked in one place. Jamal Fogarty, Matt Tamoku. They just got destroyed down that side of the field. So if Sanders can hold up defensively, they'll be there again.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think it's one of the best forward packs in the comp.
Yeah.
And when you're a young half, and we spoke about it with Jonah Pezzett and Payne Haas, like Ethan Sanders will have a platform that few rookie halves get.
And theoretically, Dave, those young blokes, Weeks, Tamale, Strange, they should get better.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they'll have points in them.
Finally, we had footy back on the weekend. It's so good. Just turn the telly on Saturday.
That was unreal.
It was so good to see.
Yeah.
Braithen Astor looks incredible, by the way. He's in good shape.
Svelte.
Good off
All that time in Bali. He spends a lot of time in Bali,
Yeah,
bro.
wellness centres.
Sunning himself.
Braith was obviously at Ricky's lunch as well. I gave Braith a g'day hug.
A hug?
Yeah, brought it in. And
Did you slap up into a hug or a straight hug?
it was more of a
Any
slap up.
of
Anyway,
the fake tan?
no, don't worry about that. I touched the Greek Adonis.
Yeah.
Oh, how was it?
Oh my God.
Really?
It's
Did it move, Dave?
it moved.
What moved? Yeah. But no, it was so good to see footy back.
Yeah.
The main storyline that's come out of it, the Dragons and Kade Reed, this young kid, 19 years old, he looked like a really good young half.
Great talent, 19 years of age, really good talent, and just a Dragons tragic all the way through as a kid, which I love those stories.
Yeah.
I love those kids that absolutely fulfilling their dream. He did everything he could possibly do. Dragons fans, I watched all the Red V fans just jump straight on socials and go get him in now. It's too early. It's way too early. You send Viliami Kikau down his side, and I think you'll quickly realise that he's still got some development to do. The Dragons coaching staff have a clear plan for him to play NRL. It will happen, but he still needs to develop physically, and that's the catch. Physically, as Reedy said, as far as Jamal Fogarty coming down, teams target the halves and that channel, and he would be a spot player that they go after, and he just needs to continue this development. He'll get there, but he couldn't have done anything more. Terrific.
Yeah, he was a school. I remember watching the Schoolboys a few years ago, and he was an absolute star at the national titles. But he's not going to get a start in the halves there anytime soon. They'll go with Atkinson and Kyle Flanagan this year, right? So he's going to have to bide his time, and bit of patience for a young kid's not an issue, I think.
Should anything happen in the halves, I think with Lyke and King Togia, I think he comes straight in.
I've got to say, Dave, haven't they've publicly last year, their CEO, Tim Watford, came out and publicly said, we need to go and sign a marquee halfback.
Yeah.
Right? Well, they've got, this kid looked good. If I'm him, I'm a bit concerned with those comments.
Yeah, I reckon those comments were said without knowing the full understanding of Kade Reed's path. That's all. I would think that's the case, mate. Like he showed too much talent, to not invest in him, to help develop him, to be the marquee half.
Well, they need a marquee half. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, they need him to either kick or they have to go by.
He re-signed with the Dragons in November, so he signed till the end of 2028, Kade Reed.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's promising signs. They play the Charity Shield this Saturday night. You'll hear it on Triple M. The halves will be Kyle and Daniel Atkinson for the first time. Clint Gutherson's going to get a run. Damien Cook's going to get a run. They're just deciding on whether Val Holmes plays, just trying to manage his load into Vegas. But it'll be largely the 1 to 17.
I tipped them to win the spoon, the Dragons.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And why?
I don't know. Spine.
You've got to have a reason.
I always look at the spine of football teams. And I reckon their spine, if you look at their spine, Gutho's a year older, Cook is a year older. Atkinson like Atkinson didn't start at Melbourne. He didn't start at Cronulla. How old's Daniel Atkinson? 26, 27?
20, a bit younger.
I don't know. I don't like the spine.
He's only played like an 80-minute game a handful of times in the last few years, Daniel
Yeah.
Atkinson.
The jury's out on him. So that was my issue, Dave.
Yeah.
I just had real concerns about their spine, and I got a text message from someone.
Oh, yeah.
Not the coach, but someone close to the coach.
I
who said,
think,
"What's it doing?"
yeah, I think they have too many young, talented players
Yeah,
to fall into that space because basically,
they're all forwards, though, aren't they? I mean, they're not. As I said, my issue is their spine. I just
Jacob Halangahu,
he's a good player.
Nick Sagranis, Hamish Stewart, Dylan Egan. Oh, mate, I think this is the future of the Dragons. And when you do get injuries through a season, to be able to call on such talent, I think that holds them in good stead.
They in your 8? Did you have them in the 8?
No, not in the 8. No,
Okay.
to see off the spoon.
The other part of that game was the Smith-Sharp. It was sort of framed as the first shootout. Who's going to get the other half spot next to Dylan Brown? You're hearing Dave that Sandon Smith's probably got his nose in front.
Yeah, I think he does. And I think that's a large reason why, if you think of Justin Holbrook worked at the Roosters, no Sandon Smith's game, I think he's willing to back Sandon into starting in the halves alongside Dylan Brown. But I do think it creates an issue with Kalen at fullback. It creates a salary cap issue for the Knights.
You're going to kick off the Kalen talk. Now, Chammy's not around. You're going to take over that mantle? That was Chammy's favourite subject. When will Kalen leave the Knights?
Well, what will Fletcher Sharp do is my point, mate.
Okay,
because this guy's a red-hot talent.
Yeah, he's very good.
And you can't be paying what I think they'll have to eventually pay if he's playing in the outside backs. You know, he's an upwards of a $550,000 player. You can't have that money tied up on a wing or at centre. And I think he just needs to be touching I love him. I think he's a terrific player.
So if he's getting the wing spot, most likely at this stage, does that mean Greg Marju is probably the man to make way, or do you think Dom Young would be the man to make way?
I think Marju would make way. I think Dom Young will be in that team. He's such a weapon. I mean, Marju's a good player, but he's prone to a bit of inconsistency. So, I think Dave's right. I think Fletcher Sharp will probably be on the wing, and they'll see how it plays out during the year. I mean, if Sandon Smith struggles at all, I'd imagine Fletcher Sharp will go straight into the halves with Dylan Brown at some point.
And then play Sandon as a 14 or 9.
As a 14, yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. I think they've got a delicate salary cap. Because Sharp would walk into the halves.
I think he's signed long term. I think he's signed long term, Fletcher Sharp, hasn't he? I thought he did a new deal.
But he'd walk into the halves of a lot of teams, mate.
Well,
as a running 6.
I think he's a guy I'd sign as a fullback.
Yep.
If I'm in the market for a fullback, I'd be dead set looking at Fletcher Sharp because he's an elite.
You're getting rid of Ponga?
Potentially an elite.
You're getting
fullback.
rid of Ponga?
No. I was saying if I was in the market for a fullback.
Move Ponga to 6 again.
KP's kept on ice through these trial matches.
Yeah.
That's concerning.
Foot in a boot.
Yep.
He'll be right, mate. Apparently he looks in great nick. Train the house down the preseason.
It's the funny thing. Tom Trbojevic cops all the slander for his body not being right and missing games. Ponga missed a lot of games as well.
Absolutely, he has.
Yeah.
Yep.
Fletcher Sharp signed until the end of 2028, by the way.
Yeah. So,
The other trial, Cowboys Dogs. Cowboys won 34-30. They went out of the blocks early, the Cowboys, and then Dogs got back into
team,
it.
the Cowboys, didn't
Yeah.
they? They started with a decent team, didn't
A
they?
lot of the key forwards played. I think the big one there was Helam Lukey.
Yeah.
The return of Lukey was pretty impressive, and that's a promising sign for the Cowboys. Todd Payton needs a response from his team because if we're talking about which coaches we're looking at, as far as
8 to 10 weeks, Dave. What do you think?
well,
That's the standard time frame, isn't it?
Well,
8 to 10.
I think we're going to be talking about him in 8 to 10 if they haven't got the wins. He'll be. I was firmly of the belief that he was under pressure at the back end of last year, and they need to start fast. But as I said, the return of a Lukey and some key forwards that they need to fire. They have to fire.
Yeah.
Big in. I hope Lukey stays healthy because when he's played, he's looked amazing.
Can
But he
play
just
Origin.
keeps getting injured every single year. Craig Fitzgibbon's son, Eamon Fitzgibbon.
Yep.
Eamon Fitzgibbon. He scored for the Bulldogs. Awesome scenes of him getting up, celebrating, panted dad in the crowd. It was good to see.
Yeah, love a father-son combo. 3-year deal at the Bulldogs, Eamon has. It's a pretty important signing for the Dogs as far as his development is concerned. He can play fullback, centre, 5'8".
What is he, Dave? Is he a 6? Is that what he's?
Yeah, he played majority of his footy at the Dragons in the halves. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Played centre on the weekend, and it was a neat little try. It was a kick chase try, and it was really good to see. Doggies were pretty lean though, like they were kids.
Yeah.
They'll ramp it up again this week ahead of their preparation for Vegas. It's going to be interesting to see who Cameron Serrato keeps on ice for that trial.
What are you hearing about the halves there, Dave?
I still
Galvin and Burton?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think they start.
No Mitch Woods?
No. I think Sean O'Sullivan will get his nose in front of Mitch Woods.
One of the greats.
Right, wow.
Should there be a change in the halves, I reckon O'Sullivan's this is a guy. he's a rugby league intellect. Like, he just loves the game. And to be honest, he'll be a future coach. Yeah.
Will he?
Yeah. So I think for a young Galvin learning his craft, a steady O'Sullivan actually works. So I think if there is to be a change, I think O'Sullivan's ahead of Woods.
Okay.
Big yarn coming out of Code Sports over the weekend that the NRL might be taking some games to the United Arab Emirates over to the Middle East.
You been there, Rude Man?
Never been there, no. Well, actually, that's Dubai or not?
Dubai Airport is...
I've been to Dubai Airport, yeah.
Yeah, Dubai's part of Abu Dhabi.
Oh, sorry, okay.
Which, I mean, I guess I'm not 100%. I'm not very good at geography, really.
No, the Middle East is my area of expertise.
Everyone's going to be listening to this going, these
Dubai
guys
Airport
are
is
absolute
amazing.
nutties. Yeah.
Great airport.
Great airport.
Yeah.
One of the biggest smoking areas I've ever seen in an airport.
Have you been to the lounge in there?
I haven't been to the lounge,
Mate, the lounge has got like about 6 different nationalities.
Of course, you get into the lounge.
Crazy.
Yeah, wow,
yeah, you always
It's
find
got
a
beds,
lounge.
you can have a sleep and all sorts
beautiful.
of stuff.
You're a Qantas Gold member, are you?
Yeah,
No,
no.
it sure is.
Platinum, mate. I
American
pay.
Express Platinum card, something like that.
Corporate rate, but I pay.
But no, games over there, that'd be really cool to see. Obviously, we've seen
Well, he's
Origins
talking
going.
Japan as well.
Yeah,
Orlando
yeah.
was talking Japan, Miami. This is Chamus's global round dream coming to fruition. Look, I mean, Vegas is next year's the... I don't know, how long have we got left to Vegas?
We've got 5-year
two
deal.
more years, right?
2
more years left to Vegas. So I think he's talking about playing 2 games at Vegas next year and a game in Japan or Dubai. I'm all for it.
Yeah.
I'm all for it. I reckon
New markets.
go to as many places as you can within reason, right? So that's what all the major sports in the world do now. They all take games, well, not all of them, but most of the major sports in the world take games on the road.
Yeah.
And they take into other countries to sell their sport. And I think we've got a sport that translates really well when people see it live, and I think they should.
It's got to be financial. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, well, these places, Dubai, I mean, they've got so much money.
Yeah.
They're desperate for sport.
Well, they wanted the Broncos. They wanted the Broncos, and they approached Hull KR to come and play games there in the past. So, and it all stacks up. Time zone works.
Yep. And it's a junket for us.
Absolutely. That's the most important part.
Yeah.
That's the most important
Happy
part.
days.
It's what Union's done so well, though, is getting those markets. You look at them, they've even got now Argentina and South America.
Yeah.
They've got a league over there in America for Union as well in the United States.
Yep.
They've got, Japan, they've got a team that's going well. So
Vegas next year will be interesting because one team won't make it. There's only 5 left.
I think the Tigers will be the odd one out.
You think so? Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I hate this. We have to share it all around to every team as well. It's like if you want to make it as big as possible, you almost send the Broncos every year. You send the big dogs.
Yeah. I know this. There are teams that went the first year that want to go again.
Yeah, right.
And so, therefore, they may enter the equation for next season because it's Eels, Titans, Dolphins, Storm, Tigers.
Bears as well.
For 27, yeah.
It'll be Storm, Para, Dolphins, Titans.
Okay.
Have to be.
That's not that bad, actually.
No,
that's a better lineup than we've got this year.
Because Storm, Eels,
Titans
they've got
are
this
confident
feud
too.
going at the moment, which will be, and they're 2 good footy teams with big supporter bases. Dolphins, Titans, can take it or leave it. But anyway.
it's a Southeast Queensland derby.
It is, yeah. People will go.
Yeah. Just quickly then before we go, boys, Zac Lomax, any news? What's happening there?
He's back in court today.
Okay.
The hearing's due to take place later this week. So over 2 days in the Supreme Court. That might change today, might change later this week that gets pushed back. But at the moment, we're heading to court.
They play round 1, and I'm a firm believer
He won't play.
that Parramatta should have something included in that.
Yeah.
In that, whatever the outcome is, that he sits that one out.
Yeah, I don't think he'll play.
Volandy spoke over the weekend and was very supportive of Zac Lomax.
Yeah. Well, I understand Zach went and met Pete. Had you heard that, Reddy?
I hadn't heard that, no.
Yeah.
But Pete's been very supportive of him. I know Pete's spoken to Melbourne and Para about the situation. He wants Zac playing again. So I think that's actually part of the reason Para's gone to court.
Absolutely,
is to stop
it is.
the NRL rubber stamping his return. They want some say over how that takes place. And as I said, I think that's part of the reason they've gone down the legal route. So hopefully it gets resolved sooner rather than later.
And Bellamy's finally not teasing us about retiring as well. How good is it? We just know that he signed now to the end of 2028.
Yep.
It's, he's got 3 years left on the deal then.
Yeah. I spoke to him on Friday about it. So basically a couple of mates of his from Oberon came down, they've retired. He was talking to them about retirement and they said to him, make sure when you retire, you know what you're going to do with your life. And he said, I had no idea what I was going to do. And I still enjoy coaching, so I'll go again for a couple more years. He is on, man, that deal.
My mail is that deal is
massive.
humongous.
He deserves every cent.
He'd be the highest paid bloke in rugby league.
Are we talking $2 million a year?
More than that.
Wow.
Extraordinary.
Massive deal.
Yeah, wow.
So that helped as well.
No
Yeah.
wonder.
Got him over the line as well.
Well, you should
Not
use
that
Wayne
he's short of
Bennett.
cash, Craig. I mean, Craig's flying.
Yeah.
You should use Wayne Bennett as his inspiration.
Yeah.
Like Wayne's, 79 you said in the show?
Yeah.
Keep
Get to
going.
80, mate. Get to 80, Craig. Plenty
We might
years
be
to
doing
go.
this podcast when we're 80. What do you
Yeah,
reckon?
Yeah.
you know, a man who looks 80 but is actually 67, Buzz Rothfield, he's officially
I
retired.
think he's 68, isn't he?
Well, 67. I think he's 67.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got 6'7", yeah.
Yeah, 67. Oh, no. But you guys
my
worked
kids.
very closely with him.
Oh, the buzz.
Yeah.
Do you guys both start at the telly? Is that where you started?
No, I didn't. No.
No? Where'd you start?
I started at the Queensland Times. Which,
Time. Did you
Yeah, I
start-
did. I did a start at the telly.
So Buzz would have played a huge role in both your careers, I imagine.
Absolutely. I wrote an email to him to get my start.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. He goes, I wish I kept that email. Best email I've ever read.
Did he?
Yeah.
Wow.
He always says it.
Yeah.
But no, absolutely. He was hugely influential, no doubt in the world.
He's the last of the great sports journalists, I reckon.
You reckon?
Buzz.
Yeah.
It's time. It's changed now.
Yeah.
Buzz is like the
Doyen.
Yeah, he's the doyen. Yes, the doyen.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's going to leave
We'll
a big
miss him.
hole. Oh, yeah, because it feels like he's still at the peak of his powers. Like last
Yeah.
year, 360.
Well, he's more popular than he's ever been.
Yeah.
360, Triple M have made him.
Yeah.
Giving people
He should write a book.
more of an insight
He
into him.
he should
write
a
I
book
think
now.
people have come to appreciate who he is and what he does. So the fans will miss him.
Yeah, I'll miss it. I love
Don't you reckon
working
he
with
should
him.
write a book?
I don't know.
Imagine the
Could he,
story.
could he tell all these stories?
Why not?
I don't know.
May as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, may as well. He's
No.
retired. Doesn't need all the relationships
He's
anymore.
just
No,
cruising,
that's
sitting in his
right.
balcony on
Yeah,
the Gold
He's ha-
Coast, just type away.
Oh, he's happy.
Tap
I'll
around the
tell you that.
keyboards.
You talk to him and it's like you're talking to a different man.
And our great mate Chammy then went as well.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
wild, isn't it? That's
Man,
wild. Yeah, I'm
great.
so happy for him. I think he'll be amazing at that role.
Yeah, okay.
You don't feel the same?
No,
way?
no, I think it'll be good. Yeah,
Didn't
I'm
sound
just
like
happy
very
we're not.
convincing.
I'm just happy we're not competing
It's a
with him
huge.
again.
Hey, don't beat around the bush. It's a monster task.
Oh, monstrous, massive. But he's a smart
Huge.
guy.
Yeah.
I think he's coming to Vegas. Have you heard this story?
Maybe he might. Yeah, maybe if he's there, hopefully we'll be able to see him.
Signing players over there. I think.
Wow. What for? Will they be breaching
At
the
the
November 1
combine.
rule?
The combine, yes. It's going to be the Vegas Nines to sign some players.
Because they can sign players from November 1
They
this
can
year.
sign players now.
No, they can't.
Yes, they can.
Yeah.
What, off contract players?
Yes.
No, because
Like-
they come in 2028.
Yeah, but
So
blokes,
being that- no.
blokes who have contract at the end of this year, they can sign.
Yeah, but that exactly end of this year. So that would be players for 2027.
Yeah, but they can sign them now.
No, but
Sign
they
them no, they can sign them for 28
Yeah.
Even
and
though-
work backwards.
Right.
Then that player then goes and gets a one-year deal somewhere else.
That's right.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
So they basically can go start getting guys
They
from
can
now.
sign players now.
And so it's tax-free dollars
Yep.
For staff as well.
for staff as well. For staff as well. Yeah, wow, Chamis, well done. But their living conditions
I think it's
now.
tax-free once he goes to PNG, though. He's
Yeah,
not,
yeah,
he's not in
absolutely.
PNG.
Well, mate, you
yet.
just say, don't pay me for just yet. I'll collect all my
Yeah,
salary.
yeah. Back-end deal.
Yeah. No, but the rental stuff's interesting because
Yeah.
so the whole talk was, the compound's free and all that jazz.
No, it's not
It's
free.
not.
Yeah.
So they're going to pay the equivalent of, so say you got a 3-bedroom villa in this resort, you're going to pay the equivalent of what a 3-bedroom apartment is in Brisbane or
Yep.
Sydney.
Yeah.
So they're going to, average it out to what the cost is, and that's how they're going to
I
charge
think
it.
there's money put aside in a government trust to make up the difference,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah. So there's 60 million coming from, our government, the Australian government, and PNG's obviously
Chammy
throwing
gets
some.
about 20 of that.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, what do you reckon his salary would be? We speculated about salaries earlier.
Yeah.
He'd be on 800 maybe, tax free.
Maybe
Yeah, I
tax-free.
reckon so.
Yeah. Get on him, power to him. But great show, boys. Great to have you back. We'll
Good to
be
be
back
back.
again next week. Yeah. We'll be back on Tuesdays moving forward.
Tuesdays.
So you get the journos on Tuesday. Well done, boys.
Thanks, mate. Good to be back.
Thanks, Charlie.